Wow, look at that.
Hey guys, so just want to firstly say thanks to everyone that watched the unboxing video of the Canyon Strive. I didn't expect it to get that many views, so thanks to everyone for watching. But this video is finally the promised kind of first impressions review of the Canyon Strive AL 5.0. I've owned the bike for about 3 months. I've ridden a variety of stuff. I've raced it in a cross-country race, ridden countless trails around Brisbane in Queensland, Australia, and some of those trails have been quite basic cross-country trails, and some of them have been a little bit more hectic, actual proper use of the bike, how I was hoping to use it. And yeah, it's been going well, but I'll get into the details in just a second. So I guess I'll start off with the positive things about the bike. So building the bike obviously was very easy, as you saw in the video. Nice and straightforward to put on. Pretty much ready to go straight off the bat. Tweaked it here and there as I've been riding it to various trails. I haven't changed anything on the bike. It's still stock. I'll link the full specifications below on the Canyon website. All I've done is slapped on some Shimano clipless pedals, but apart from that, fully stock. Bars haven't even been cut, which has been interesting on some of the narrow sections that we have here. I came off a 2011 Transition Bandit, which is a 26-inch frame, and the bike is super easy to pedal when the Canyon is in the green mode of the shapeshifter, which is the 135mm trail mode. And others have also commented on how easy the bike is to pedal. And the bike is long. I found it quite long, but to get up hills it is very easy. I did actually race it at a cross-country race, as I've said, and look, I didn't come last at all, and I found it climbed just as well as everyone else. Okay, yes, it's not as responsive and as quick as some of the other cross-country bikes out there, but it's not meant to be climbed fast like those bikes. When the trail starts to flatten out and, you know, it's a flatter trail, things start to get good. The bike rolls over stuff very easily. The 27.5-inch wheels are perfect, especially for trails here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. The bike does what it needs to do. And to be honest, I've spent most of the time on the bike in that 135mm green mode in the shapeshifter, because frankly a lot of the trails here you don't need the full downhill mode when the shapeshifter is in black, and I think the bike goes to 160mm or whatever it is. So yeah, the bike's been good. It's done very well with what it's held. Very easy to descend on. It jumps well. It's very calm in the air. It's not too twitchy going around stuff. And when you hit the rough stuff, especially if you engage in the downhill mode, the bike completely changes dynamic. That's one thing about the shapeshifter that I really like, is essentially the bike is two different bikes. When you got the trail mode, very easy to pedal. It's just your basic cross-country bike. But as soon as you put it into that black mode, totally different bike. Everything softens up, it lengthens out, gets a bit lower. When you hit corners it just feels stable. When you're going through the rough stuff, it's planted, it just goes. So I can't complain with that regard. And if you are after a bike that can do it all, that can climb easily, but you're not going to be the fastest, but it will climb, and you want to get down quick, I think this is the bike for you. So I guess some of the negatives about the bike. We'll start with the shapeshifter. So the shapeshifter, it is quite difficult, especially if you're on a trail, to shape out of the green mode into the black mode. It is quite a mobile, dynamic movement to get it into that black mode, and it's hard to tell based on gut feel, if you haven't done it a lot, if the bike's actually in that black mode, and you actually have to look down onto the shapeshifter to see if it's gone black on the symbol. early on I did find there were some occasions where you did shape shift into the downhill mode that the indicator was black with a hint of green, so it just hadn't quite gotten all the way, and it's hard to tell if the bike's actually in that black mode. But overall, the more I did it, the more I kind of recognized, okay, yeah, the bike is actually in the shapeshifter black 160mm travel mode. So that's probably the only issue with the shapeshifter. It is, to get into it is a bit of a movement, as I've said, so it does take a bit of practice, especially on a trail when you're concentrating on other things. To suddenly shift your weight back over the back of the bike and throw it into that mode is quite difficult. But to get out of it, it's simple. You just push a button, lift your weight off the bike, and it drops into the standard 135mm trail mode. What else with the bike? The bars I think are 760mm wide, which here in Brisbane is pretty wide for some of the tracks we actually ride. I haven't clipped a tree per se, but on some tracks I've literally had to come to a dead stop and get myself around the tree, just because it's not worth the risk of smashing into these trees. I guess a lot of the stuff I'm about to talk about isn't really Canyon's fault per se, because it's the parts they spec. But the SRAM GX derailleur, I've noticed that the bolt does come loose a fair bit, so you have to be quite wary of that. And actually, I've had also issues with the seat creaking. So what it was there was a creak, or maybe there was dust or dirt or something that's got in between the rails and the seat clamp, and any kind of vertical movement, rotating of the seat, you hear this little creak. Can get quite annoying, but it is a fixable thing. Just pull apart the seat and clean it out and put a thin bit of grease to fix it. Really not a big deal in the long run. I guess one thing I did notice on the ride this morning with the Canyon, there was obviously the seat was creaking, but there was another creak that was coming. So we stopped, we had a look at the bike, flexed the wheel a bit, and the bottom pivot of the frame on the main linkage was actually creaking. So to fix that, we just cracked the bolt, untightened it a bit, loosen it off, wasn't creaking, then tighten it back up. It hasn't played up since, so that's one thing I might keep on top of and let you guys know if anything actually happens to it. Apart from that, the bike, there's nothing to actually complain about how the bike rides. I mean, it is a big bike. For the enduro racing, it's perfect. For going down stuff that's rough, it's perfect. There's not a lot to dislike about how the bike performs. The brakes are fine, the gears were working great, everything works really well, just those minor issues I talked about. So if you're looking for a bike that can do it all, and this bike will literally do it all, you will be able to climb up hills easily, providing you've got the fitness, and you'll be able to descend well and truly as easy as almost a downhill bike. Okay, yes, it's not going to ride the same as a full-blown downhill bike, nothing will except a downhill bike, but you'll be able to get down a lot of things with confidence. And drop it in that black mode, it's a totally different bike. Everything is just much more responsive to what you want it to do. You can throw the bike around, you can just smash corners, you can smash through the rocks, through the ruts. It will do what you need it to do. Obviously a lot of it comes down to the rider, but the bike will make things easier for you. And you know what, I would highly recommend it to anyone that wants a proper do-it-all bike. There really isn't much on the market out there that is literally two bikes in one, and this is what the Canyon is. And for me, I'm glad I went out and got it, and I'll check back in a couple of months, do the 6-month review, see if there's anything problems that have come up. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, so far it's been perfect, and I look forward to hitting a few more races, doing some proper full-on downhill on it, and seeing how the bike goes. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review. You know, for anyone out there that wants a new bike, I wouldn't hold the Canyon away from anyone, and I'd highly recommend it. And look, hopefully I'll be able to put up some more videos. The weather's cooled down here in Brisbane. It's no longer 35 degrees, 99% humidity, so it's time to get back out there and ride some of the good tracks and give this bike a proper go. Cheers.